Čaute, čaute. Čiže začnem, aspoň vám predstavím Gaja, môjho učiteľa, priateľa, šamana, tanečníka a zakladateľa školy tančeceho srdca. So, toto je Guy, this is Guy, my friend, teacher, shaman, dancer and creator of the Dancing Heart Path School. Guy je Angličan, ktorý žije v Čechách. I told them that you were from England or from Great Britain and now live in Czech Republic. Mm-hmm. So we have some okay, everything is fine. Ešte taká technická poznámka pre tých, čo ste možno prvýkrát na StreamYarde. Tam je taká možnosť nad tým našim rozhovorom dať povolenie Facebooku, aby bolo vidieť vaše meno, lebo my teraz vaše meno nevidíme, vidíme len Facebook user. Takže ak chcete, aby bolo vidieť vaše meno, treba kliknúť nad tým našim príspevkom na ten link a tam dať povolenie. I just told them some technical stuff because we don't see names here, okay. So they need something to do. OK, takže ďakujem za vaše infošky, že je všetko v poriadku. Tak, začíname. Ja som pozvala Gaja na dnešný rozhovor. My sme sa bavili už strašne dávno, možno ja som ho pozývala už pred niekoľkými mesiacmi alebo aj rokom do tejto skupiny, aby nám porozprával o kreativite. So I invite you here to our group and we talk about that like many months ago that I would like to invite you to our group to talk about the creativity, pretože Guy sa venuje viac kreativite, učí aj kreativitu. Jeho vlastne spôsob rozmýšľania nad kreativitou dosť ovplyvnil aj mňa, lebo som začala vnímať kreativitu z takého širšieho pohľadu ako vlastne napojenie alebo tanec s tým veľkým duchom. So your point of view to creativity really changed my mind about the creativity, so I started to feel it and to consider it as communication and dance with God or big creator. A preto som vlastne Gaja poslala sem, aby niečo o tom povedala aj vám. Alebo ako on to celé vníma. Takže vítaj. So, hello. And my first question is if somebody says creativity, we think it's painting or writing or whatever, acting, but it's something really different or something more and more and more things. So can you just explain us how do you think, talk, what do you think about the creativity? Takže moja prvá otázka je, že keď sa povie kreativita, čo to vlastne pre Gaja znamená? Lebo väčšina ľudí si predstaví, že niekto maluje, alebo spieva, alebo hrá divadlo. Ale Guy nad tým rozmýšľa, aj to vníma zo veľa ako väčšej, širšej perspektívy. So, please.
Yeah, so first of all, hello. I'm very, very excited to be here and thanking very, very much for inviting me.
Takže Guy vás všetky zdraví, je veľmi rád, že tu môže byť a ďakujem, že som ho pozvala.
So for me, creativity is life in the broadest sense.
A pre mňa je kreativita život v takej širšej esencii.
Life is creative. It's constantly renewing itself, giving birth to itself.
Život je kreatívny sám ako taký, dáva sám seba, zroďuje.
So every spoken word, every step is a creative act.
Každé slovo vyslovené, každý krok je nejaký kreatívny čin.
Sometimes that creativity appears in a gallery, sometimes it appears on a food on the table.
A niekedy sa kreativita prejavuje v galérii, niekedy na tej potrave, čo si naserujeme na tanier.
So for me, this was an important breakthrough to realize creativity is all of life, because I was in this consideration that only if I was a sculptor or an artist was I creative.
A toto mi hrozne pomohlo sa pozrieť na tú kreativitu zo širšie, alebo že to je vlastne život ako taký, pretože predtým som si myslela, že môžem byť kreatívny len keď budem sochár, alebo proste nejaký inak umelecký činný.
So creativity in this sense is not so much a thing, it's not a whole series of objects that you do.
Že kreativita nie je nejaká ako vec, nejaká nejaké objekty, ktoré vyrábame.
It's this living, vital, vibrant life force.
Že je to tá žijúca, vibrujúca životná sila.
And to be creative is another way of saying to be fully alive, to be in total existence with all of you.
A byť kreatívny znamená byť plný života, byť v tej totálnosti, v tej plnosti života a existencie.
So in a sense, you'd also look at if there was such a thing, the opposite of being creative, to be uncreative.
Že čo to je treba, že byť na opačnej strane tej kreativity, že nebyť kreatívny, čo to teda je.
You could also consider that's when you're not feeling alive, when you're feeling blocked or tense or restricted.
A je to taký ten pocit, keď sa cítite úplne neživo, cítite sa zablokovaní, ako plný nejakých reštrikcií, zákazov.
Yeah, so the way I feel it is that creativity is like a river. When it's flowing, it's like this abundant and full and energized.
A kreativita je ako taká rieka, plná ako toho flow, tej hojnosti a energie.
And if you were to study a river, you see there's lots of micro flows within the big flow.
A keď si pozriete na rieku, tak je tam strašne veľa maličkých tých flowov, we don't have translation flow, plynutí, v tom jednom veľkom plynutí.
So you could say that we're all in this big river of life, all of us, all together, all at once.
A všetci, mohli by sme povedať, že všetci sme v tom veľkom toku života.
And sometimes we're these really fast energy, sometimes the swirling place in the river.
A niekedy je taká fakt ako silná energia, niekedy sa to tam točí ako taký vír.
But we're all united. It's like there's a common human grounding that we are all the river, all the life.
Ale všetci sme vlastne jedineční a všetci sme ako spojení v tej jednej rieke života.
But everyone doing it his or her way, uniquely, originally, and I love that.
A každý, aj keď sme v tej jednej rieke života, si ho žije tým svojím unikátnym spôsobom.
Yeah. So the next time you go and have a good look at river, just notice all the differentiation. There's so much variety in the flows.
A keď pôjdete na budúce k rieke, tak si môžete pozrieť vlastne, koľko veľa variácií všetkého možného v tej rieke uvidíte.
Mm-hmm. So when looking at creativity, I'm really talking about life. To become alive, to be in this flow state and to really open up to inspiration.
A byť kreatívny pre mňa znamená byť živý a byť v tom štádiu toho flow a byť otvorený inšpirácii.
Yeah, so it's okay. We'll talk to you about the way I can see the way the brain works with creativity.
No, že vlastne Guy teraz možno povie, ako vlastne tá myseľ funguje s tou kreativitou.
So in the flow state, there's certain states of consciousness we go into.
Keď sme v tom flow, tak to je nejaké ako štádium vedomia, v ktorom sme.
So when I was younger, 18, I trained as a sculptor at school.
A keď som bol mladší, keď som mal 18, išiel som do sochárskej školy.
And there'd be a stage in the process where I'd be thinking about it, like studying it with quite an intellectual view.
A bol tam taká časť toho procesu, kedy som mal nad tým rozmýšľať, čiže používať ten intelektuálny pohľad.
But I'd be working with stones, so chiseling away, and I'd be by myself in a studio.
A som pracoval s tým kameňom, bol som sám v tom štúdiu.
And there'd be a certain sort of shift in consciousness. Suddenly I would be absolutely united with the stone. It was just this moment, us.
A zrazu mi to vedomie sa mi tak ako premenilo a zrazu som bol spojený a bol som jedno s tým kameňom.
It's like a fully alert, awake state. It's an amazing feeling to be in.
Som sa cítil úplne ako taký prebudený, bol to krásny ako pocit.
There's a certain ecstasy to the art.
Je to ten pocit tej extázy pri tom umení.
Yeah, I'm sure you can relate to this. And like when you're fully absorbed into the painting, it's like there's no difference between you and it.
Je, že nie, že aj my, keď ako sme plne prepojení s tým obrazom a nie je v tom rozdiel. That's right.
Yes.
I also talk to people, just communicate, feel that painting, and it tells you what she needs or it needs.
Exactly. So I've also studied a lot of meditation and different sort of spiritual approaches and techniques.
Aj som študoval strašne veľa meditáciu, rôzne spirituálne metódy a techniky.
Yeah, it's a very, very similar process to be studied meditation, for example.
A je to veľmi podobné ako študovať meditáciu.
So often you sit down to meditate and you're busy thinking a shopping list of the day. Kind of thing.
A sadneš si do meditácie a rozmýšľaš nad tým, čo si mal dneska kúpiť.
And then if you move with your breathing, you come to deeper states, inner states.
A dýchom sa dostávaš do hĺbších a do hĺbších hĺbky svojho bytia.
So your mind stops chatting and you start getting inspired, start to see visions and maybe, geometric patterns, start to open up your consciousness.
a postupne tá myseľ ustáva a stále sa dostávaš hlbšie, až sa dostaneš do takého iného štádia vedomia.
And if you've had enough discipline and practice, you can go to these really sublime states of ecstasy or tranquility, calmness.
A keď máme dostatok disciplíny a praktikujeme to, tak sa vieme dostať naozaj do takého stavu extázy.
Now, they've done lots of studies in terms of creativity. When you move from a beta wave to an alpha wave rhythm,
a je hodne štúdií ohľadne kreativity, keď sa presunieme z tých beta vln do alfa
in the alpha
hladiny.
In the alpha wave, you're much more creative. There's much more possibility.
A vtedy zrazu sme oveľa kreatívnejší a máme oveľa viac možností.
Now, I do a lot of shamanic work, and we often work with the shamanic drum.
A pracujem hodne so šamanskou prácou a pracujem so šamanským bubnom.
Then you move from this alpha wave to a theta wave.
A potom sa môžeme prosunúť z tej alfa hladiny do theta hladiny.
Or delta, which is really a visionary state.
Alebo do delta hladiny, ktorý je naozaj to vizionárske štádium.
It wouldn't be very comfortable, but if you could wire yourself up at night time when you're dreaming, you'd be in a theta delta state.
A je to takéto štádium, kedy sme ako keby vo sne takého fakt ako napojenia a snívania.
And this is partly why we dream. We go beyond the shopping list thinking into this other state of dreaming.
A je to vlastne ako keď snívame, že ideme preč z toho spôsobu života, ako že rozmýšľame o tých praktických veciach ako shopping listy a ideme do toho vizionárskeho štádia.
So I got very interested in this and studied my dreams, studied symbolism, alchemy, these kind of things.
A ma to veľmi zaujímalo, tak som študovala svoje sny, študovala som tú alchymiu.
And started to realize that the pictures are communicating a lot to us.
A zistil som, že obrazy veľmi silno s nami komunikujú.
There's an expression, a picture has 1,000 words. It's really the case. It's really true.
Can you say that?
A picture has 1,000 words.
Že obraz má 1000 slov, tisíce slov.
But only if you're in that state of consciousness where you can really receive the picture.
Ale najmä vtedy, keď si v tom nejakom trochu inom štádiu vedomia, vtedy môžeš vlastne dostať tie odkazy od toho obrazu.
It's like even these pictures behind us. If you were to meditate upon them, you go deeper and deeper and deeper into the art itself.
A keby sa treba pozriete na tie obrazy za nami a trochu na tým pomeditujete, tak sa dostanete stále hlbšie do tých odkazov, ktoré môžu pre vás mať.
So it's not just like a flat two-dimensional painting. It's like it comes alive depending who's looking at it, where you're looking from.
A naozaj to nie je taká tá dvojdimenzionálna malba, ale naozaj sa rozvíja ten príbeh na základe aj toho, kto ich pozoruje.
And all of this is still true of life. The way you look at life, where you're looking from, influences your complete experience of living.
A to je celé taká ako pravda života, že ako keby ty ovplyvňuješ to, čo žiješ.
So you might consider where you're looking from right now.
Teraz sa môžeme spýtať, že čo je to miesto, z ktorého sa teraz dívame.
Is what we're talking about. Is it inspiring some curiosity?
Možno to prebudí nejakú zvedavosť.
Yeah. Are you thinking about this, or are you feeling into this? Is it like touching your heart, for example?
Rozmýšľate nad tým, alebo cítite to, dotýka sa to vášho srdca.
And if you dare to like take off the mask of the mind.
Ak chcete a dáte preč tú masku a vlastne tú zásteru tej mysle.
Take a few deep breaths and relax in your body.
A urobíte niekoľko hlbokých nádychov a uvoľníte svoje telo.
And you start to get closer and closer to where we're talking from, to that creative state that lives in you.
A vtedy môžete zistiť, že z akého miesta treba my teraz hovoríme. Z nejakého kreatívneho miesta, ktoré vám možno prehovára k tomu vášmu kreatívnemu miestu, ktoré je v každom z nás.
So to be awake as a creator is just to be in your power as a deliberate manifestor of your life.
A byť kreatívny znamená byť vo svojej sile a byť ten vlastne tvorcom a dodávateľom z života pre seba samého a nielen pre seba samého, aj pre celok, v ktorom žijeme.
So it's much more than painting pictures or even the way you express in life. It's the entire lifestyle. It's your whole approach to living.
Čiže to je oveľa viac ako malovať obrazy alebo niečo vytvárať. Je to vlastne celý taký ako lifestyle.
Like an artist is a 24-hour preoccupation.
Ako umelec je 24-hodinové zamestnanie. That's right.
Yeah. This is not just when you're painting the pictures. It's like the picture in a way is just like one possibility of your expression.
A malovať je len jedna možnosť, ako sa môžeme vyjadrovať.
Yeah. In some ways, it's a byproduct of your creator self.
Svojím spôsobom je to taký vedľajší produkt toho kreatívneho života.
Beautiful byproduct.
Nádherné byprodukty.
But the artist, the one who's alive as the creatress, is really where it's happening internally.
A ten tvorca v nás je niečo, čo sa v nás vnútorne deje.
And that's what I got really interested in. Is like, how can I live more in my creator state?
A to je to, čo som sa vždy zaujímal. Ako ja môžem viac žiť vo svojom stave toho kreatora, toho tvorcu.
Mm-hmm. So, as I said, when I was younger, I trained as a sculptor, and I really believed that was going to be the pathway I was going to move down.
Som vravel, ako som mladý študoval sochárstvo a to som tak vedel, že to bude tá moja životná cesta.
And then along the way, I found my way into dance.
A ja po ceste som zmenil zakrutu a dostal som sa k tancu.
And you know, there was a little bit of grief of letting go of the sculptor in me.
A mám tam trošku taký smutok v sebe, že som sa vzdal toho sochárstva.
And then one day I was on the dance floor. I was holding space as a facilitator. I was guiding a dance journey.
Raz som ako viedol tanečnú cestu ako facilitátor.
I just went into this awareness. It's like, this is sculpture. This is living sculpture.
A uvedomil som si, ak som videl tých ľudí, že toto je to sochárstvo, to sú tie živé sochy.
Yeah, I'm playing music and saying a few words, and the dancers are just creating this amazing like flow form of art on the dance floor.
Tak som mal nejaké playlisty, som hral nejakú hudbu, som do toho niečo rozprával a tí ľudia sa tam pohybovali a bolo to naozaj ako nádherné sochárstvo a živé sochy.
Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting, my relationship to art. Just an example. When I was doing my sculpture A-level, we had a project we had to do.
Iba niečo k môjmu vzťahu k umeniu, keď som vlastne sa učil toho sochára, tak sme mali taký projekt urobiť.
So we had to go to the sea, we had to find something in the sea that inspired us from a sculptural point of view.
A mali sme ísť ku moru a mali sme niečo tam nájsť, čo nás z toho sochárskeho pohľadu inšpiruje.
So there's this lovely beach near where I live with lots of fossils on, and I found this fantastic fossil of all these, you know, these snails, ancient snails.
Tam, kde som žil, alebo som tedy bol, tam je aj more a tam som našiel takú krásnu fosíliu, taký, ako to vyzeral, taký had.
So I took it home and I set up my piece of stone and I was going to start sculpting to imitate it, to be inspired by this.
A keď som prišiel domov, tak som vlastne chcel byť tým inšpirovaný a začal som s tou sochou.
And the more I kept looking at this beautiful fossil, the more I thought that it wouldn't do it service. And so what I did was I presented the fossil as my art.
A keď som vlastne to začal robiť a pozeral som, aké je to krásne, tak som si hovoril, že tomu nejak nepomôžem. Už nič ako to nevylepším, tak som prezentoval tú fosíliu.
Yeah, I had this sense that nature is just so perfect and so beautiful. And I just wanted to just honor that by presenting nature as herself in the first person.
A tak som si fakt myslel, že tá príroda je ten najkrajší umelec a vytvára krásne veci, tak som chcel ako sa tej nejak ako tú vďaku a ten honor dať tej prírode, tak som tú prírodu prezentoval ako tú sochu.
And it's very subtle what happened inside of me, but it was something like, instead of trying to reproduce art, was to appreciate the art that's all around us all the time.
What's one, please?
And instead of trying to reproduce art, is to really to appreciate the art of life itself.
A namiesto, a zistil som takú zrazu prišiel ku mne taká myšlienka, že namiesto reprodukovania toho, čo vidíme pekne, by sme to mali oceňovať.
And so that really woke up inside me, the observer, to like really to study, to see, to feel, and to notice what's around me.
A to vtedy vlastne, odvtedy sa rozvíja vo mne ten pozorovateľ toho a študujem to, čo sa vlastne všetko krásne okolo nás nachádza. Som za to vďačný a vlastne pozorujem to.
This was also something I was deepening into with sort of spiritual practice as well, how to observe, how to perceive from the heart.
A to je vlastne aj veľmi silná pre mňa taká spirituálna prax, že musím to ako vnímať a byť za to vlastne vďačný, oceňovať to.
And it's a challenge, but to look beyond judgment, to look beyond interpreting what you're looking at.
A je to fakt výzva dívať sa na to bez hodnotenia, bez nejakej interpretácie. Iba príjmať a vnímať.
I'll just give you an example.
Poviem vám príklad.
And so I was going for a walk with a friend in the nature.
Som bol s priateľom v prírode.
And there's this buzzard flying in the sky, making a beautiful noise.
A letelo tam niečo a robilo zvláštne zvuky.
And I said to my friend, look, there's a buzzard in the sky.
What is it?
It's one of the big birds. It's not like an eagle, but it's like a small...
To je nejaký vták, ktorý je nie ako orol, ale taký nejaký veľký vták. A povedal priateľovi.
So my friend looked up at the sky and saw the buzzard.
A priateľ videl toho vtáka.
And carried on looking, just really watched, observed, and saw this beautiful bird.
A iba ho pozoroval, aký je krásny.
Yeah, I realized I wasn't seeing the bird in that moment.
A ja som zistil, že vtedy som nevidel toho vtáka.
Yeah, I just said, look, there's a buzzard. So I'd seen the picture of a buzzard, and then I'd stop looking.
A vtedy som zistil, že som na ňu pozeral, videla som ten jeho akože obraz a prestal som sa na ňu dívať.
So just by noticing her watching this beautiful bird, it really taught me something a lot about taking time to appreciate and to really feel what we're looking at.
A ak som pozorovala toho kamaráta, tak vtedy som si uvedomil, čo to vlastne znamená niečo naozaj vidieť a pozorovať, zobrať si ten čas a pozorovať, urobiť niekoľko hlbokých nádychov a dívať sa na tú krásnu bytosť.
There are so many implications to this. So I just invite you, next time you look at a friend.
A je z toho pramení mnoho všelijakých ako implikácií, takže na budúce, keď pôjdete.
Don't look at the friend the way I looked at the buzzard very quickly, then I stopped looking.
A nepozerajte na ho, jak ja som pozeral na toho vtáka, že iba pozerajte rýchlo a prestanete sa dívať.
Yeah, look like my friend. She was looking from curiosity, from innocence, from excitement.
A pozerajte sa na toho priateľa s veľkou dávkou nejakej zvedavosti, také ako nadšenia a nevinnosti.
So she wasn't looking through the filter of ideas. She was looking directly from feeling.
A či to bola asi kamarátka, teda a ona sa pozerala fakt nie z toho nejakého hodnotenia, posudzovania, ale s čistým srdcom a cez svoje city.
Mm-hmm. So sometimes in life we look through the filter of ideas. It's a bit like wearing orange-colored glasses.
A veľakrát sa na život a na svet pozeráme cez taký filter, ako keby sme mali nejaké okuliare s filtrom.
Yeah, everything becomes orange. We really believe it's the case. We think it's the truth.
Napríklad s oranžovým filtrom, tak všetko okolo nás by bolo oranžové bez ohľadu na to, aké to naozaj je.
But one day someone knocks your glasses off, you suddenly start to see all the colors and all the things that were actually here.
A niekto príde a nám vezme tie okuliare a zrazu vidíme ten svet taký, ako je naozaj.
So this process of like looking without naming, looking without interpreting is like a huge creative gift.
Looking without naming?
Yeah.
A veľmi silný taký kreatívny dar je pozerať bez toho, aby sme niečo nazývali, pozerať na ten svet bez toho, aby sme niečo posudzovali.
Maybe after 5 or 10 minutes, maybe a name comes in, but you start from feeling, from presence.
Takže možno za 5-10 minút nejaký názov príde, ale začať s tou hlbokou prítomnosťou a z toho miesta toho pocitu.
Imagine the world of a child. See, the child before they've started really thinking about the world.
Predstavte si, ako dieťa pozerá na svet. On zo začiatku nad tým svetom nerozmýšľa.
Like they're looking from the position of feeling, from experiencing, from presence.
A oni idú z toho miesta pocitu a z toho miesta z toho zážitku.
And as we get older, for some reason we start getting into judgment, opinions, beliefs. I'm right, you're wrong, this kind of thing.
A nejakého dôvodu, keď sú staršie, začnú to nazývať, posudzovať,
and the world becomes so scientific, so known, it becomes very robotic and habitual.
A svet sa stáva veľmi potom taký vedecký a taký robotický.
So we stop actually seeing, we stop feeling, we start just thinking about the world.
A my sme prestali cítiť, my sme prestali vnímať a ten svet a my sme sa naučili nad ním rozmýšľať.
Don't get me wrong, I love thinking, but thinking is like
I agree.
But I love it, but thinking is a bit like the last part of the wave. You see, an ocean wave is like the last drop. There's all these other feelings and sensations before thinking happens.
Guy hovorí, že miluje rozmýšľanie, áno, miluje, to viem, ale až potom. To je až neskôr. Čiže najprv to cítime, najprv to vnímame, najprv máme tú skúsenosť, až potom nad tým môžeme rozmýšľať.
So you can start to consider like the possibility of like the totality of seeing, totality.
A keď začneme nad tým rozmýšľať, nad tými možnosťami života, tak je to o tej také ako absolútnom tom vnímaní a videní tých vecí také, aké sú.
And I'm still talking about you and your friends. This is still an exercise.
Stále to cvičenie s tým priateľom, alebo s tou priateľkou.
Your lover, your partner, your children, your colleague, everybody.
Môžeš to urobiť s priateľkou, priateľom, dieťaťom, kolegyňou, s hocikým.
And very simply, I call this like seeing from the heart. This is just in a very simple sentence.
A ja tomu hovorím, že vidieť srdcom, to je taká jednoduchá veta.
But it's holistic, it's all inclusive, everything's allowed in the thing.
Zahrnuté.
See, sometimes we go to the top of the mountain and we're looking up to the sky for a vision.
A niekedy sa vyškrebeme na vrch a pozrieme sa na oblohu, aby sme videli.
And we forget to open our eyes and see the beautiful vision everywhere around us.
A zrazu otvoríme oči a vidíme ten pohľad všade dookola nás.
Like see the sky, see the mountains, see the earth, see the trees, the rivers, everything.
A naozaj vidíme tú oblohu, vidíme tie rieky, vidíme tie hory.
Yeah, this is a very long answer to your question.
A to bola dlhá odpoveď na moju otázku.
I'm quite excited about creativity.
Na moju otázku, že čo je to kreativita.
Yeah.
Ak vás napadá nejaká otázka v súvislosti s tým, čo Guy hovorí alebo hovoril, tak ľudia napíšte a na konci bude priestor na otázky, ale ak vás niečo páli, nejaká otázka, môžete napísať hneď a I'll tell them that if they have like really specific question what are you talking about, so they can ask. And I would like to ask about this. You are mostly, as I know you, the dance facilitator and teacher. You are teaching dance as the life. So how is that connected? Because for me, it was very inspiring. Sometimes I also call it I'm dancing on the canvas. And I feel it very connected also to painting, to life. So how do you consider special dance as a creative thing? Pýtam sa Gaja, že on je hlavne ten tanečný facilitátor, učiteľ tanca, veľmi ma inšpiroval vlastne k tomu pohľadu na kreativitu a ja sa vlastne tiež na to už teraz dívam, že tancujem na tom platne. Takže aký pre ňoho má vzťah tanec a kreativita?
So I am going to get to the answer, but then in kind of roundabout way.
Takže odpovie, ale nejak sa takou zatúla ešte predtým.
I just wanted to give emphasis again. It seems to be from observing people through my whole life. Most people get stuck in their thinking.
Podľa mňa, ak pozorujem ľudia celý život, tak sú zaseknutí v mysli.
So they make up an image of themselves.
Urobili si image samého seba.
Called the personality.
Ktorý sa volá osobnosť.
And they spend the rest of their life trying to maintain that personality, that image.
A celý život sa snažia si naplniť tento image.
So it's like an actor on a stage. You put on a mask, you put on a costume, and you're pretending to be someone you're not really.
A dáš si masku, kostým a celý život sa pretvaruje, že si niekto, kto nie si.
And the reason why people do this, why we do this, why I've done this, is because we want to belong, we want to fit in.
A prečo to ľudia robili, alebo ja som to robil, lebo chcú niekam zapadnúť.
We want to be loved, we want people to pay attention to us.
My chceme byť milovaní, my chceme, aby ľudia sa nám venovali.
We want to be valued, we want to be seen. I think this is common for all of us. I think this is probably true.
Chceme mať hodnotu, chceme byť videní a myslím, že to je pre všetkých nás spoločné.
But what I'm questioning is putting on a self-image the most purposeful way of doing this, achieving this. Is wearing an image, is like pretending to be something to get love. Is that the most effective strategy?
Is the most?
Is it?
No, že či naozaj to, že si dám nejakú masku a budem sa tváriť, že som niekto, kým nie som, či to je naozaj efektívna stratégia, aby nás niekto hľadal.
So I'll give an example from my own life.
Dávam taký príklad z svojho života.
So as a child, I used to do this thing called sulking. I don't know if that translates. You become very sad or look like you're sad.
Keď som bol decko, tak som bol taký, neviem to preložiť, ale také smutné decko.
So I used to put on this sad face, go very quiet and kind of sit in the corner.
A som si dal tú takú smutnú tvár a bol som ticho a sedával som v kúte.
And my strategy, when people would notice, guy's in the corner, he's sad and upset, he needs some love, let's go give him some love.
A mal som takú stratégiu, že všetci si ma všimnú a povedia, Guy je v kúte, on je asi smutný, musíme mu dať nejakú lásku.
What actually seemed to happen was, guy's in the corner, he's quiet and content, let's leave him alone.
ale jak to ľudia povedali, že Guy je v kúte, on je smutný, tak nechajme ho samého.
Right. So my desire was for love and connection.
Ale moja túžba bola láska a spojenie.
And my strategy was terrible.
Ale stratégia bola hrozná.
Right. No, I did this for years. Now maybe you do your strategies for years too.
Ja som to robil roky a možno aj vy robíte svoje stratégie roky.
Certain key moments in my life, there are various things that have happened that made me realize that being an image is not the way to be.
A veľa vecí sa v mojom živote stalo a zistil som, že byť nejaký image nie je to, čo chcem byť.
Because if you create an image, you then got to sustain the image. And you've got to keep being that image every time you see that person.
Keď vytvoríte si image, tak vlastne musíte byť vždy ten image, keď ste v kontakte s nejakou osobou.
Now, I decided I want people to see me for me.
A som sa rozhodol, že chcem, aby ma ľudia videli mňa.
But the first decision was with myself, looking in the mirror. I want to be honest with myself.
A prvé moje rozhodnutie bolo, alebo prvá potreba bola pozrieť sa do zrkadla a vidieť sám seba.
So to do that, I had to first of all notice I was wearing some masks and then consciously, deliberately take them off.
A prvé to bolo o tom, že zistiť, že naozaj si obliekam nejaké masky a dať ich dole.
And I tried thousands of different methods, really thousands.
Naozaj som vyskúšal tisíce rôznych metód.
And then I found dance, okay? What we call conscious dance, you can?
A potom som našiel tanec, môžeme to volať vedomý tanec.
So the first process I met was a process called biodanza, or biodanza.
A vlastne s prvým tancom, čo som sa stretol, bol taký proces, alebo tanec, kde sa to tancovalo, bol biodanza.
Which means life dance.
Čo znamená tanec života.
And I remember walking onto the dance floor and just suddenly, there's freedom here, there's permission here. I can just be myself here.
A vlastne keď som, it was like more than 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was 30 years ago. Yeah.
Bolo to pred 30 rokmi, keď prišiel na parket prvýkrát a zistil, že tu je vlastne sloboda, tu je povolenie a tu môžem byť sám sebou.
So before that, even when I was like 12 years old, I always knew that dance was amazing. I always had a possibility of freedom. Even when I was 12 years old, I also discovered that dance was amazing.
A aj predtým som si myslela, že tanec je ako super, že je to taká sloboda.
But then I spent a whole period of time in heavy metal rock music. I kind of forgot the power of beauty of dance.
Ale som potom strávil roky s tou svojou milú nejakou obľúbenou rockovou muzikou a nevenoval som sa tancu.
I've gone through lots of different episodes in my life, but you know that was one of them. Rock music and in alternative gothic music.
Prešiel som rôznymi fázami hudby. Rock bol jeden z nich.
Until I discovered the dance floor, where I realized I could dance with any music.
A zistil som, keď som prišiel na parket, že môžem tancovať na akúkoľvek hudbu.
And it wasn't so much about the music, it was really about what was happening inside, internally, in the feelings and emotions.
A fakt to nebolo o hudbe, ale o tom, čo sa deje v mojom vnútri.
Yeah. So without even noticing, I'd gone beyond the mind. That the part of me that had been so busy controlling the self-image and all this kind of pretense disappeared on the dance floor.
A zistil som, že môžem byť ako za tou myslou, že všetko kontrolovalo a vytváralo ten image, že to som vedela ako pustiť.
And the more I danced, the more it became natural just to be myself, without ever putting the images and masks on again.
A čím viac som tancoval, tak tým viac som sa stával sám sebou a už som nemal potrebu dať si tie masky a ten image.
Then you start to recognize that people like you, for who you actually are, not who you're pretending to be.
A som zistil, že ma ľudia môžu mať radi len tak, za to, že som ja.
And most importantly, you like yourself for being honest, for being authentic, or for being real.
A potom, čo zistíte, že sa môžete mať radi za to, že ste vy a nemusíte sa pretvarovať.
So that's what I discovered on the dance floor, is like my own moving reality.
A to je to, čo som zistil na tanečnom parkete, moja pohnutá realita.
So I studied in this, I trained in this for years and years and years.
A ja som to študoval a trénoval roky.
In lots of different ways, with biodanza, shamanism, tantra, many different approaches.
Na mnoho iných spôsobov, cez biodanzu, šamanizm, tantru.
And I started to conceive the possibility, how can I bring all this together into one dance form?
A potom som sa pýtal, ako môžem to všetko dať spolu na to jeden paket.
So I created the Dancing Heart Path.
A tak som vlastne stvoril tú cestu tančiaceho srdca.
Which I call a tree of life teaching.
A ja to volám učenie stromu života.
Yeah, so the tree of life has got loads of branches on it, it's the whole tree.
A strom života má veľmi veľa vetvičiek.
And every single branch is welcome, is included.
A každá tá vetvička je zahrnutá aj vítaná.
Like, I used to go to some workshops where it was about meditation, but sexuality wasn't included.
Raz som robil vlastne, teraz to viac bolo o meditácii, ale aj sexualita bola zahrnutá.
I go to a sexuality workshop where meditation was included.
A robil som workshop o sexualite a meditácia bola zahrnutá.
Yeah. Or confidence was missing, or artistry was missing. Something was missing.
A niečo chýbalo.
So I wanted to get an opportunity where everything was welcome, everything was included in some way.
A tak som vlastne vytvoril niečo, kde môže byť zahrnuté všetko.
Like for me to be whole, to be real, is to be round. Everything's allowed here. Everything's given permission.
A pre mňa byť celistvý znamená, že je všetko vítané. Všetko je ako také objaté do takého kruhu.
So I've been working with the Dancing Heart Path now for over 10 years.
A vlastne 10 rokov pracujem s týmto konceptom, touto mojou školou, cestou tančiaceho srdca.
And it keeps evolving and growing and expanding.
A rozvíja sa to a rastie.
But I feel that what we're coming to in this process is that everything's allowed, everything's welcome on the dance floor.
A naozaj je to taký ako proces, kde je všetko vítané na tom parkete.
So we're not trying to be happy, for example. This is one of the great illusions in life.
You don't wanna try to happy?
No, I'm not trying to be happy.
Čiže ja sa nesnažím byť šťastný.
Equally, I'm not trying to be sad.
Ale tiež sa nesnažím byť smutný.
I'm allowing myself to be honest.
Snažím sa byť pravdivý.
And that's really relaxing. I don't know how you feel about this when you hear this, but if you're not trying to be happy or trying to be sad, not playing with any images, you can just be yourself.
A keď sa nesnažíte byť šťastný alebo nesnažíte sa byť smutný, tak potom môžete len byť tým, čo sa práve deje.
So in that state, you relax and you notice people around you start to relax.
A v tom stave môžete sa zrelaxovať a môžete z toho miesta pozorovať ostatných.
And over the years, I've found lots and lots of friends. Freyja, student friends is like become authentic human connection.
A tým spôsobom som našiel spústa priateľov. A my sme sa tak stretli vlastne, keď ja som bola študent. A ja teda môžem potvrdiť, že Guy je fakt jeden z mála učiteľov, a tých som teda stretla, môžem povedať desiatky, možno aj stovky, ktorý fakt vždy je sám sebou. So I have to prove that you are one of the maybe 2 or 3 teachers I know who is always yourself. You never play games with us. You never wear any masks.
Yeah, just nice shirts.
Nice shirts. And sometimes really, že niekedy som zažila, že treba za nejaký žiak sa do neho pustil a on vždycky si zachoval tú láskyplnú prítomnosť. So I was observing the situation that some student was arguing with you and you could use your power as a teacher to put him down or something to do, but you always stayed in the heart and in the present moment with the student. So I appreciate that so much.
Thank you. Yeah. For me to be in the present moment, whether it's a student, a human, a butterfly, whatever you're present to, is where life is actually happening.
A byť v tom prítomnom okamihu je naozaj to, čo vnímam, že tam sa ten život deje.
So are you alive or are you thinking about being alive? Which is it?
Si živý, živá, alebo myslíš o tom, že si živá?
See, and on the dance, it's like you're definitely living because you're moving. You're breathing, you're feeling, everything's engaged on the dance.
A pri tanci si určite živá, alebo živý, pretože sa hýbeš a jednoducho cez to telo ten pohyb prechádza.
Also, the beautiful, I call it alchemy, but this transformational process that happens in the 2 hours of a dance journey, so much can change and transform.
A naozaj, ja to volám alchymia, ale je to veľká transformácia, čo sa môže udiať treba za tie 2 hodiny počas tej tanečnej cesty.
Some people come into the dance floor and they're terrified of people. A lot of people are terrified of people.
A niekedy prídu ľudia na tú tanečnú hodinu a sú úplne zhrození z tých ľudí.
Or, they've only ever been intimate in connection with their single partner, for example.
A nikdy neboli v žiadnej dvojci s nejakým ako človekom bližšie.
I'm not talking about sexual intimacy. I'm talking about intimacy of the heart, intimacy of like holding hands and connecting with natural nourishment.
Ja nehovorím o sexuálnej blízkosti alebo intimite, hovorím o intimite srdca k srdcu, držanie sa za ruky.
So after 2 hours, this same person is there in connection, talking, expressing, dancing with everybody on the dance floor.
A za 2 hodiny tá istá osoba zrazu rozpráva, tancuje, drží sa za ruky s kýmkoľvek na parkete.
Yeah, what happened? They stopped thinking.
Čo sa stalo? Prestali rozmýšľať.
They started dancing.
Začali tancovať.
Yeah, they sweat a bit. The heartbeat comes up a bit.
A srdce im ožilo a bilo.
Yeah, so the body wakes up. The body is real. It's natural. It's authentic.
A telo sa zobudilo, začalo byť reálne, autentické.
And the way I weave the music together with a few simple instructions, people just get to travel and expand and really enjoy themselves internally.
A tak ako vlastne usporiadam tú hudbu, tam vlastne podporujú to, aby sa tí ľudia pohli a aby sa vlastne cestovali nielen ako tým telom, ale aj celkovo tým svojim vedomím.
So if you're interested, I'll just give a very brief description of the dance journey.
A keď vás to zaujíma, tak rád vám poviem niečo o tanečnej ceste. I think some of them never been in something like that, že možno nikdy ste na takom ako intuitívnom alebo takom tanci, ktorý by neboli, takže on vám rád povie, ako vlastne tá tanečná cesta vyzerá. Wait a second, there is a question. Okay, it's just comment. Fine. So you can tell us about the dance journey. When I first time came to dance floor, not to your course, but in Bratislava, it was horrible. I was afraid of people, and they were just women, but I was like. Keď som prvýkrát prišla ja na to asi pred 12 rokmi na takú tanečnú cestu a boli tam len ženy, ja som bola úplne paralizovaná, takže viem, že it can be difficult.
I mean, just be honest, there's lots of good reasons to be afraid of other humans.
Aby som bol pravdivý, niekedy máme dosť dôvodov obávať sa iných ľudí.
Yeah, we call humankind, but we're not necessarily the kindest of species.
Hovoríme, že ľudský druh, ale nevždy sme veľmi ľudskí.
We're also called human beings, but we're doing all the time.
A tiež sa voláme ľudské bytosti a nie sme, to po anglicky sa to je being, ale viac ako being robíme doing, čiže miesto bytia robíme.
So like we're born into this natural state as a child, innocent, open, curious, spontaneous, creative.
A zrodili sme sa ako tie nevinné, kreatívne, nie až tak mysliace deti.
Then we grow up and get very serious, and create an identity and follow these images.
A keď sme dospeli, tak sme sa stali veľmi vážnymi a vlastne sledujeme ten náš image.
And we wonder why we have a midlife crisis or an 18-year-old crisis or a 30-year-old crisis.
A potom máme krízu stredného veku, ale už aj krízu 18-ročného veku, aj 30-ročného veku.
It's a crisis of meaning. It's a crisis of feeling.
A je to vlastne kríza toho zmyslu a kríza citu, cítenia.
It's really a crisis of being. We're no longer being the being that we are.
A je to taká kríza bytia, lebo my zabudáme byť.
So, knowing this, when people come to the dance floor, what we begin with is you introduce yourself to each other in the room.
A väčšinou, keď začíname ten tanec, tak sa zídeme na tom parkete a každý sa nejakým spôsobom predstaví.
And then we do some process of like releasing any tension through the body.
A robíme taký proces, kedy vlastne ako keby vytrasieme stres nášho tela.
So I invite people to stop talking for 2 hours, which encourages them to stop thinking. To stop talking. So,
ja podporujem ľudí v tom, aj prestali sa tam vykecávať a prestali nad tým rozmýšľať a začali vlastne sa hýbať.
It's a very simple training process. If we stop doing one thing, something else starts to open up inside of us.
A keď prestaneme, to je také ako bežné cvičenie, keď prestaneme robiť jednu vec, priestor sa otvorí pre ďalšiu vec.
If you don't believe me, put a blindfold on and you realize, I start to hear more clearly now.
A keď mi nevedíte, vyskúšate si zaviazať oči a zistíte, že lepšie počujete.
Like our brain adapts to different situations, and if you stop talking, you start feeling more.
Keď prestanete rozprávať, možno začnete viacej cítiť.
You start noticing more with really clear observation.
A začnete viac vnímať, budete vnímavejší.
Then thinking is no longer interrupting your movement, your expression.
A potom to myslenie menej ovplyvňuje alebo neovplyvňuje to vaše vyjadrenie a ten váš pohyb.
So I'll never teach anything complicated. There's not big steps or choreography. It's just very simple invitations.
Čiže ja to nikdy nekomplikujem, nie sú tam žiadne zložité choreografie, iba je to veľmi jednoduché, nejaký maličký návod.
So we warm up a bit, we start to open up the body, we start to stretch the body, all very simple things.
Čiže sa niekam zastavíme, otvoríme, začneme sa hýbať a dáme priestor k tomu telu.
And then gradually, progressively, slowly, we start to connect to each other in the group.
A tak pomaličky postupne začneme sa kontaktovať navzájom v miestnosti.
And the music is always there to encourage you and inspire you.
A hudba vás vždy podporuje a inšpiruje.
And sometimes it's in a playful context. Sometimes humor is a good way to come in and help the connection.
Niekedy je to také hravé a humor tam má svoje miesto.
It's very, very simple, okay? Very simple, like touching the fingers, for example.
Je to veľmi jednoduché a veľmi také nie je komplikované, napríklad, že sa dotýkame prstami.
Right. So you can do this right nicely. Touch your fingers.
Môžete si chytiť prsty.
Yeah, touch your fingers. Right, so this is interesting. So just touching fingers. That's the first start, okay?
Je to zaujímavé, ako prvý krok. Chytíte si prsty.
But it gets more interesting when you take a breath together. So you breathe at the same time.
A spolu sa nadýchnete.
So you breathe, the fingers start to dance already. So.
A vidíte, prst začne tancovať.
And then very gently they start to move by themselves.
A automaticky sa začnú hýbať tie prsty.
Right, which is really quite fascinating. So
je to fascinujúce.
Thank you. Right. But if you do this, your fingers start to move and you can breathe into it. So there's this movement and there's this breath and there's awareness starts to open up in a very simple invitation.
Čiže je tam vlastne ten dotyk, je tam nádych, potom také uvoľnenie tela.
My intention is to support people in their connection with themselves and with each other.
A môj zámer je podporiť ľudí v kontakte samého so sebou a s inými ľuďmi.
I really do feel like 90% of our desires in life or issues in life are because there's either contact or lack of contact.
A myslím si, že najviac problémov alebo túžob alebo niečo, čo väčšina ľudí rieši, je kontakt alebo nedostatok kontaktu.
When people feel safe and they belong and they relax together, and they make contact, everything seems to flow.
A keď ľudia sa cítia bezpečí, sú zrelaxovaní, vlastne sú v tom kontakte s tými ostatnými, tak všetko je v poriadku.
When you feel that people judge you or have expectations of you, your body starts to tense, you get stressed.
A keď vlastne cítite, že vás ľudia kritizujú, hodnotia, začnete cítiť stres.
And sometimes the response to that stress is to then perform, to overperform.
A niekedy ako nejaká reakcia na ten stres je, že začnú ako hrať divadlo, alebo proste to celé preháňať. To je taká ako jedna z veľkých reakcií na ten stres.
So one thing we're always doing on the dance floor is finding a way back to connection with ourselves, others, the music, to the life.
A to, čo robíme vlastne na tom parkete, je navracame sa ku kontaktu samého so sebou, ostatnými a k životu.
Sinead O'Connor wrote a song, one of the lyrics is being safe in her own skin.
A Sinead O'Connor má takú pesničku bezpečí vo vlastnej koži.
So when you feel safe in your own skin, you feel your own power, you feel your own life force.
A keď sa cítiš bezpečí vo vlastnej koži, cítiš sa posilný, cítiš sa dobre na mieste vo svojom živote.
So I call this process the roots. Okay? The roots are going down to the earth. The safety creates the roots.
A ja volám ten proces zakorenenie. To bezpečie vzniká tým, že sa zakoreníme vo svojom živote.
And then you can open up to the branches or the wings. You start to fly in inspiration then.
A potom vlastne môžeme roztiahnuť tie krídla, alebo ako strom môžu nám narásť tie vetvy a môžeme čerpať inšpiráciu.
So simultaneously, you're both very grounded and very expansive.
A vlastne to je naraz. Naraz sa zakoreňujeme a začíname sa otvárať inšpirácii.
I don't know if the expression works in Czech, but sometimes in English they say you're such a dreamer, as if you're kind of flying in the clouds.
Neviem, či je to v slovenčine, v češtine, ale v angličtine je, že je the dreamer snílek.
So just imagine having that flying in the clouds, but feeling the power of your feet on the ground at the same time.
No a predstavte si, že vlastne ste ten snílek, ale zároveň cítite tú silu v tých koreňoch.
Just go out and observe a tree, like really look at a tree, just notice this.
A pozorujte ten strom života, že naozaj, keď ho vidíte, tak on je viac menej taký.
Strong trees got strong roots.
Silné korene, silný strom.
It's got big branches.
A veľké vetvy.
And beautiful leaves and fruits and flowers. Everything's alive in the tree.
Úžasné listy, plody.
And that's how we can be. We have strong roots and we can have huge inspiration at the same time.
A je to tak vlastne, že máme silné korene aj my a vlastne veľké vetvy a môžeme čerpať spústa inšpirácie. May I ask you the question? Is it creativity possible, or is this something what is really necessary if you want to be really creative, to have these strong roots and started to have some artists? Because some artists, they are not so rooted, they are less crazy flying alcoholic and many things. Pýtam sa, že či fakt ako byť ten kreatívny v tom slova zmysle aj umelec, či je toto tiež vlastne nevyhnutné, čo ja si odpovedám, že asi je, ale zaujíma ma ten Gajov názor.
Right. So the art world and the writing world, everything is testimony that you don't have to be rooted to create things.
Ten artistický svet hovorí o tom, že nemusíte byť zakorenení na to, aby ste niečo umelecké vytvorili.
But my question is, how sustainable is that?
Ale moja otázka je, ako je to trvácne.
How fulfilling is that? You know, how wholesome is that?
How
wholesome? How content do you feel if you're just flying in the clouds the whole time?
Ale pýtam sa, ako sa ty cítiš v poriadku sám so sebou, keď lietaš len tých oblakov a si ten tvorca, si ten umelec? Či sám so sebou si v poriadku?
I like to walk in the stars with my feet on the ground.
A ja rád vlastne prechádzam po hviezdách, ale cítim tu zem.
If you ever come to one of my dance workshops, it's really practical spirituality, how to apply the inspiration in everyday life.
A keby ste prišli na môj workshop, je to naozaj taká praktická spiritualita, ako lietať v oblakoch, ale zároveň žiť aj na zemi a praktikovať to v žití.
Maybe no Carl Jung, the philosopher, the psychologist.
Napríklad Carl Jung.
He wouldn't take students unless they were very grounded, very practical.
He wouldn't take them,
no.
If they are not?
If they didn't have the finances and the home.
On napríklad nebral študentov, pokiaľ neboli zakorenení, to znamená, keď nemali proste domov, nemali proste financie, neboli v tej zakorenení v tých koreňoch.
Because he wanted to teach them about archetypes and really mysterious things, really magical alchemical things.
A chcel ich učiť o archetypoch, o mysterióznych veciach.
But to study these things, it's important to have very strong roots and ground.
A keď to chcete študovať, musíte mať naozaj veľmi, veľmi silné zakorenenie. Because because you are going just to fly.
You go off balance. It's like a tree without any roots will fall over.
Lebo vlastne potom by ste boli ako strom, by vás to mohlo odpaliť, aby ste spadli ako strom, ktorý nemá korene.
Or you can have what's called creative burnout. It's such intensity in the inspirational phase that you can't root and ground.
A mohli by ste vlastne veľmi ako vlastne tvorci, umelci vyhorieť, pretože bol to veľké štádium takého proste toho tvorenia, ale potom by to kvázi zožalo samého seba a aby ste potom bez tých koreňov to muselo skončiť.
So the way I teach is like both and. That's kind of my teaching.
Čiže pre mňa je to učím tie obidve veci.
It's to be very ordinary and very extraordinary at the same time.
Čiže musíte byť veľmi obyčajný a veľmi neobyčajný.
Yeah, I don't want to just get people high and dysfunctional in the world.
Ja nechcem ľudí ťahať niekde hore, aby nefungovali na zemi.
And also, I'm very interested in sustainable creativity, not creativity that needs drugs or alcohol or some kind of extra method to get you there.
A fakt ma zaujíma taká tá dlhotrvajúca kreativita, nie kreativita, ktorá proste potrebuje drogy a alkohol.
Mm-hmm. I really feel that our essence is creative.
Fakt si myslím, že naša esencia je byť kreatívny.
And if this is true, then the more we deepen into our essence, the more creative we naturally become.
A ak je to pravda, tak čím viac sa dostávame do našej esencie, tým viac sme kreatívni.
Like I said, I've been observing Freyja these last few years, and she first started with art in a small way, and now here I am sitting in the studio.
A už tak pozoruje mňa niekoľko rokov a keď som taký malý začala tvoriť pred pár rokmi a teraz tu sedíme v mojom štúdiu.
So the more confident, more connected you get with yourself, the more your creativity just expands and expands and expands.
Čím viac si dôverujete, čím viac ste sami sebou, tým viac sa môžete tvoriť a rásť.
And that's what I mean. It becomes a lifestyle. It's sustainable. It's always.
Je to taký spôsob, ako žijeme a je to už potom navždy.
That's what we mean by creativity is life, and life is creativity.
A vlastne to znamená, že kreativita je život a život je kreativita.
Yeah. And that sense of aliveness, that sense of like participating and being co-creative with existence, for me is beautiful.
A je to takéto spolutvorenie, byť kotvorcom, ko-kreátorom toho života.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So my first teacher, Rolando Toro, the creator of Biodanza.
Môj učiteľ, Rolando Toro, tvorca biodanzy.
Yeah. Someone asked him, what is the meaning of life, Rolando? What is the meaning?
A niekto sa ho spýtal, čo je to zmysel života.
And he said the meaning is in the living.
A on povedal, zmysel života je v tom žití.
Yeah. So it's not an idea of the meaning.
To nie je žiadna myšlienka o zmysle.
Not a philosophy of the meaning, not a religion of the meaning.
Filozofia toho zmyslu a nejaké náboženstvo toho zmyslu.
It's in the presence of actually being alive in this moment. Yeah.
Je to o prítomnosti v tom byti, v tom prítomnom okamžiku.
When you're fully alive in the present moment, you don't ask questions about what is the meaning of life because you feel so alive.
Keď sa cítiš plne živý, tak sa nepýtaš, čo je zmysel života, lebo v daný moment ti dáva zmysel.
It's only kind of when you're bored or disconnected or lost that you start to ask these questions.
Čiže keď si taký nejaký znudený, odpojený, tak začneš filozofovať nad touto otázkou.
If you don't believe me, when you're really doing something you love, are you there contemplating what is the meaning of life? Or are you just doing what you love?
A keď mi neveríte, tak si sa spomente na niečo, keď robíte to, čo milujete, či sa vtedy pýtate, aký je zmysel života?
So the meaning is self-revealing. It reveals itself moment to moment to moment.
A ten zmysel sa zjavuje sám, z momentu na moment.
There's an expression in India, it's called Satchit Ananda.
Je taký názov v Indii, Satchit Ananda?
Yeah, I think it translates to ever renewing bliss, consciousness and love.
A je to také, ako preklad toho je, že si v nejakom bliss,
consciousness and love.
V nejakom žiare, vedomí a láske.
Mm-hmm. And it's really an expression that life is meaningful in the living of the life itself.
A je to také vyjadrenie toho a zmyslu života a žití toho života.
So again, which is why I come back to the dance. In the dance, you can't help but live. You can't help but come alive.
A v tanci to proste musíš robiť a si v tom živý.
So this week, I went to 2 weddings of students who were in the school.
A tento týždeň som bol na 2 svadbách študentov z mojej školy.
And they'd taken the love that they felt on the dance floor really into real life.
The life from the course?
Yeah.
Čiže oni si vzali toho človeka nejakého, čo stretli na kurze.
Mm-hmm. So it's like you wake up the love and then suddenly it just spills out of the dance floor into your everyday world.
a vlastne stretnete tú lásku a ako keby z toho života je ten tanec života.
So you can see that like the dance is like an awakening.
A ten tanec je ako keby také prebudenie.
And then when you walk out of the dance room, you're still awake.
A keď vodíte do tej tanečnej miestnosti, ste stále živí.
You can see more clearly. It's like you cleaned off that orange filter.
A vidíte lepšie, nemáte už ten oranžový filter.
And if you can see more clearly, you can feel more clearly.
A keď si vidíte lepšie, tak aj cítite lepšie.
You have more clarity of mind.
Máte väčšiu jasnosť v mysle.
And because you feel very connected, then you enter into this world, which is called synchronicity.
A keďže sa cítite viac prepojení, tak zažívate viac synchronicít v živote.
It's like you have a desire and intention, and it's like it reflects back to you, all around you.
A máte nejakú túžbu, nejaké želanie a zrazu zistíte, ako vám život reflektuje a vám prichádza do života.
It really feels like you're in this magical universe when you're in this state of connection, love, presence. Everything seems to just respond to you.
Naozaj verím v tú mágiu toho vesmíru, že keď ste zakorenení alebo v tom srdci, v tom byti, tak veci začnú k vám prichádzať.
And it does that because when you're in a state of naturalness, there is only naturalness reflected back to you.
A musí to tak byť, lebo keď ste v takej prirodzenosti, tak všade okolo sa kontaktujete s tou prirodzenosťou, ktorá je pre všetko, celý život prirodzená.
Yeah, if you're in a state of pretense, all you see reflected back is the state of pretense.
Pretense?
Pretense. If you're busy pretending, being self-image, that's all you notice.
Čiže keď ste v nejakom predstieraní, tak to, čo stretávate, je to predstieraní.
So you're being played by the game.
Čiže hráte hry a sú s vami hrané hry.
Instead of initiating your expression.
Miesto toho, aby ste vlastne vy iniciovali to svoje sebavyjadrenie.
So I'm just going to pause and take a breath for a moment.
A ja teraz si urobím pauzu.
Maybe that's a good idea.
A urobím si pauzu a nadýchnem sa trošku. A by som vám chcela spýtať, Guy veľmi pekne a rád rozprával o týchto veciach. Ak máte nejakú špecifickú otázku alebo chcete sa ho na niečo spýtať konkrétne, kľudne sa pýtajte, my by sme radi, však už máme vlastne hodinu, čo sme tu skoro, takže my by sme radi odpovedali, ak vás zaujímajú nejaké otázky. So I ask them that we are here almost for an hour, so if they have some questions, tak so they can ask. Môže to byť akékoľvek, proste aj na umenie, alebo na to, čo Guy hovoril. So we can wait a second. I have one question. Now you live in Czech Republic for 3 years.
Yes, yeah.
And you lived in Great Britain, and you had courses all around Europe. The difference between people from the creativity point of view?
Yeah, very different.
Tak som sa spýtal, že Guy teraz žije v Čechách, ale je pôvodne z Anglicka a učí vlastne po celej Európe, že či vidí nejaký rozdiel, čo sa týka kreativity ľudí. What did you recognize?
No, I reflect on this a lot, actually.
Hodne som vlastne sa nad tým zamýšľal.
So, just for example, I've taught in South America. I've taught in Brazil sometimes. I've shared my dance in Brazil.
Som učil aj v Brazílii.
And in Brazil, life is lived on the street. It's very much in the hips. It's very vibrant.
A v Brazílii sa žije na ulici, ľudia sú prítomní a tancujú tou pánvou a sú fakt ako veľmi živí.
I lived in England most of my life.
Väčšinu svojho života som prežil v Anglicku.
And it's not really a pelvic country.
Naozaj to nie je tá krajina, kde by tá pánva sa hýbala.
I mean, it's shifting and changing a lot these last few years.
Pár posledných rokov sa to trošku mení. Dosť sa to mení.
Listen, I'm not giving it a judgment on the cultures. This is just a general view, okay?
Nechcem tu posudovať tú kultúru, len to je také ako asi všeobecne vnímané takto.
But there are certain cultural things that do seem to show up on the dance floor.
A tie kultúrne veci sú hodne poznateľné na tom parkete.
Hey, so I'll just talk about in Czech Republic. So here we are.
A teraz poviem niečo o Česku, tu sme teraz.
Now, what I feel in the Czech Republic is that when you first meet people in the Czech Republic, you can't always sense what they're feeling.
V Čechách vidím to, že treba, keď stretnem toho človeka v Čechách, že z počiatku vlastne neviem, čo cíti.
If we were playing a game of poker, you'd all win.
Keď si hráš mi poker, tak určite nevyhráš.
Yeah, as I say, like in Brazil, life is lived on the street, it's lived on your face. Everything is obvious. It's in the expression.
A v tej Brazílii napríklad, jak ľudia žijú aj na ulici, všetko majú v tvári a všade je to vlastne vyjadrené.
Right, so a friend of mine, another teacher, showed me something.
A jeden môj priateľ, učiteľ, so mnou niečo zdieľal.
I was in a workshop with him, and he was saying to me, "Look, everyone's looking very serious here."
You?
No, I was in the workshop. My friend was saying to me, "Just look, everyone looks very serious right now." He told me to look at the group. They're looking very serious.
A boli na nejakom spoločnom workshope a hovorí mu, že pozri na skupinu, všetci vyzerajú veľmi seriózne.
And then he said, "Watch what happens."
A hovorí mi, pozeraj, čo bude sa diať.
Then he played a really strong bit of drum music.
A pustil veľmi silnú bubnovú hudbu.
And people went from this very serious kind of facade of like, I'm not going to show you anything, to the full self-expression.
A it was like 10 seconds?
It was like 2 minutes.
Za 2 minúty všetci tí smutní ľudia, boli plní toho proste úsmevu, radosti a takého toho vyjadrenia.
And like the energy came alive in the room, everyone was connecting, it felt like there was a real tribe of dancers.
A všetci boli zrazu živí, energia ožila a tancoval sa ten taký ako kmeňový tanec.
So I spoke with many people about this. Why is this the case?
A som sa o tom bavil s mnohými ľuďmi, pýtal som sa, o čo ide.
So this is a working theory, okay? This is not a factual thing, this is an observation.
Toto je také moje pozorovanie, nehovorím, že to je fakt.
So in Czech Republic, you got the background of communism.
V Česku, aj u nás na Slovensku máme ten nejaký ako pozostatky a komunizmu.
So you kind of sell your soul to the state. The state runs you.
Že vlastne ten štát ťa nejako vedie.
And to be creative, to be expressive is dangerous.
A vyjadrovať sa, byť kreatívny je nebezpečné.
You see people, anyone standing against the communist regime, if you like, get imprisoned or put away.
Čiže keď sa kedysi ľudia postavili voči komunistickému režimu, tak išli do väzenia.
So individuality, creativity, self-expression is not treasured, is not honored.
A individualita, kreativita a sebavyjadrenie nie je oceňované.
So,
nebolo.
So uniformity, playing the game, being invisible, this is appreciated.
Uniformita, hrať tie hry, byť neviditeľný, to bolo to, čo sa cenilo.
Mm-hmm. So everyone plays along this game because the government has very strong powers to keep this game in play.
A vlastne tá vláda fakt ako sa snažila dlhé roky tú hru udržiavať.
But all the time, your creativity is still alive inside of you.
Ale vždycky tá kreativita žila a žije v nás.
So you can get a sense of like you've got this dragon, this wild tiger inside of you.
A máme toho silného draka, alebo toho tigra v nás.
But you got this poker face.
A máme ten poker face.
Right. Anyway, people come to my dance workshops.
A ľudia prídu na ten môj dance workshop, tanečný workshop.
And I celebrate your wild tiger.
A vlastne pomáham im oslavovať toho divokého tigra.
So I welcome him or her. Wildness is a good thing.
A hovorím im, že tá divokosť je dobrá vec.
Like self-expression is how you're designed, is how the whole of creation is designed.
A to sebavyjadrenie, to ako vy ste nastavení a vytvorení je vlastne súčasťou toho, ako vlastne vznikol alebo bol vytvorený celý svet.
Sorry, I just remind people, give yourself permission to dance.
A ja vlastne hovorím ľuďom, daj si povolenie a tancuj, rob čokoľvek.
And show people that it's safe here. It's okay. We're not getting arrested here. It's not dangerous to be yourself.
A hovorím im, tu ste bezpečí, tu nikto vás nebude chytať a ich zatvárať.
But you probably all know the unconscious is a strong beast.
Ale možno si uvedomujete, že to podvedomie je taká silná príšera.
And even though your conscious self says, yeah, it's a great idea, self-expression, let's do that.
A možno si poviete, že tá vedomá mysl si povie, wow, môžem sa tu prejaviť, idem na to.
The unconscious is, oh, you look like a fool, it's ridiculous, this is dangerous.
A to podvedomie hovorí, že ty si jak blázon, je to nebezpečné.
And so it may or may not create some resistance for a while.
A zo začiatku vlastne tá podvedomá mysl nám vytvára takú rezistenciu.
This is where like processes meditation or self-inquiry are really useful because you start to reflect on the patterning that comes from your past.
A treba meditácia alebo také sebareflexia je dobrá na to, aby sme si uvedomili tie naše vzorce z minulosti.
And you get to a stage where you start to challenge your own beliefs that you believe were true for a time.
Pardon?
You start to challenge your own beliefs.
A začneš nejak hodnotiť alebo challengeovať tie vlastné to, čomu vlastne veríš.
So what I've noticed over the years of teaching, I've been teaching for 10 years now.
A čo som zistil za tých 10 rokov, čo tu učím,
is that I see more and more people giving themselves permission just to be themselves.
A zistujem, že je tu stále viac a viac ľudí, ktorí si dávajú tú možnosť byť seba sami.
And that shows up in their businesses, in their relationships, in the way they carry themselves.
A vidím to vlastne v tých aj v biznise, aj tam, kde učím, že ľudia si dávajú stále viac a viac dovolení.
It's like giving up this fear of not belonging, not being included. It's like because they include themselves.
A vlastne odchádza ako keby ten strach z toho, že nikam nepatrím, lebo ľudia začínajú cítiť, že patria sebe sami.
Yeah, so in a simple sentence, I've come here to help people take off their poker face and be their wild tiger.
V jednoduchosti by som povedala, prišiel som sem, aby som vám pomohol zložiť ten poker face, pokerovú tvár a byť taký sami sebou.
And I don't really teach. I feel like I'm more a reminder, just kind of remind you how beautiful and natural and wonderful you already are. I've come to remind people.
Prišiel nám pripomenúť, bola tam otázka, som čítala, že prišiel nám pripomenúť, aký sme úžasní a šikovní. There are two questions.
Okay.
One is
Yes, okay.
if there is a possibility, there's very nice talking, and there is the possibility to see somewhere on net your dance.
Yeah, I've got lots of things.
Čak aj má, ja môžem vám tu do skupiny dať nejaké linky. So if you can send me or tell me, I put to the comments some.
The best thing is come to a dance workshop.
A najlepšie aj keď prídete na tanečnú hodinu, ja vám potom môžem aj na konci povieť, čo najbližšie robí, keby ste sa chceli pozrieť. So Guy will tell you at the end.
Well, I'll just tell you briefly. Right now, I teach in Praha.
Teraz učím v Prahe.
In Liberec.
V Liberci. Brne.
Yeah, Czech Paradise.
Českom ráji.
Boleslav.
Mladej Boleslavi.
And there's another venue 40 minutes away from Brno as well.
A niekde za Brnom 40 minút.
And I'm really open to teach all over the Czech Republic.
Tak chodím po celej republike and you also been in Bratislava.
Yes, exactly, yes. Yeah.
Takže aj do Bratislavy niekedy zavítam.
Anyway, yes, but we will send some links about things.
Okay.
Any other questions?
This is a question. If you can once more tell briefly what is it routing?
Routing, yeah. Interesting. For me, there's two different types of roots.
Pre neho sú to dva typy koreňov.
Right. So there's a physical root.
Fyzické.
Right, where you can you feel your toes right now. Your toes on the ground.
To znamená, že cítiš svoje nohy, tie prsty na zemi.
Take a nice big breath in the belly.
Dých je vlastne zakorenený v bruchu.
So you bring yourself back to your sensations in your belly, in your body.
Cítiš svoje brucho.
Breathe from the belly up to the chest.
Dýcháš z brucha do hrude.
Start to become aware of what's moving in the chest, more of your emotions and feelings.
Vnímaš, čo sa deje v tvojej hrudi, emócie a pocity.
So simply by breathing and sensing, you become very embodied.
A tým, že dýcháš poriadne a cítiš, vnímaš, tak sa si viac vtelený, vtelená.
So this is an embodied rooting, ground of body.
Čiže toto je také zakorenenie sa v tele. To znamená, že sa poriadne cítiš v tele.
And this is what most people refer to when they say to be more grounded.
A to väčšina ľudí hovorí, že to je to, keď som viac zakorenený, že cítim sa zakorenený som a mám kontakt so zemou v tele.
How you would notice that you're not grounded is you can't feel your body.
Jeden zo spôsobov, ako zistíš, že si nezakorenená, je, že necítiš poriadne svoje telo.
You're not noticing your breath, you're not feeling sensation.
Necítiš, nevnímaš svoj dých, necítiš v tele nejaké vnemy.
You're in the realm of imagination or thinking.
Buď si niekde v predstavách, alebo v mysli.
So there's another kind of rooting.
Ale je tu ešte jeden spôsob zakorenenia.
And I call it the ground of being.
A je to ako zakorenenie v byti.
Which is not about being your body.
Nie je to len telo.
It's about your essence.
A je to tvoja esencia.
It's about you as awareness.
Je to ty ako uvedomenie, vedomie.
So right now, you can be aware that I'm talking.
Napríklad teraz môžeš si byť vedomý, že ja rozprávam.
So there's awareness and then there's listening to words.
A môžeš pozorovať a môžeš vnímať, že ja rozprávam a počúvaš tie slova.
You can be aware that you're breathing.
Môžeš vnímať a uvedomovať si svoj dých.
Some people call this the watcher or the observer.
Niekto to volá ten pozorovateľ alebo ten, čo sa díva.
So there's a being here right now having this experience.
To znamená byť tu a teraz a mať túto skúsenosť.
And it's so always here that we often don't notice this.
A byť
It's so here all the time.
Že som tak ako silne tu celý čas.
Yeah. So we often look at what we're noticing, the thoughts, the emotions, the relationships.
Čo vnímame, myšlienky, pocity, emócie.
Not who is doing the watching, who is doing the listening.
Nie kto. to vidí a kto to cíti.
Well, in meditation, you just learn to reverse engineer the process.
V meditácii sa učí taký reverzný inžinierský proces.
So you imagine like a spiral. So I'm all the way over there watching the beautiful sunset, for example.
Že to je taká špirála, že som tam, pozorujem západ.
You wind all the way back in. And you come back to I am watching the sunset.
A je to taká špirála, ktorá vlastne zistujem, že pozerám si ten západ a tá špirála ide ku mne a vtedy zistím, ja pozerám ten západ.
So what you learn in meditation is you just take away the sunset and you just stay as the I am.
A čo sa učíš v meditácii, je, že dáš preč ten západ a zistíš iba, že ja som tu v plnej vnímavosti a pozornosti.
And that's what I call grounded being.
To ja volám zakorenenie v byti.
So you're awake, you're aware, you know yourself, you are yourself.
Si prebudený, si vedomý, si.
Yeah? So that's the difference. Hopefully you feel the difference. You can watch the sensation through the body.
Čiže neviem, či vidíte ten rozdiel, že vnímate tie vnemy vo svojom tele.
Or you can just rest into the watcher.
Alebo vlastne spočiniete v tom pozorovateľovi, čo ste vy sami.
Right, so I want you to use your imagination from it. So a circle.
A môžete využiť tú svoju predstavivosť.
It's got a horizontal line.
Je koleso, je tam
vertical line.
Horizontálna čiara a vertikálna.
So it's perfectly balanced circle and lovely cross.
Je to perfektne vybalancovaný kruh a v strede je kríž.
So the horizontal represents the ground of body.
Horizontálna linka reprezentuje zakorenenie v tele.
Yeah, so I'm rooted into the physical dimension, into what I can feel, sense and touch.
Že som zakorenený v tej fyzickej dimenzii v tele.
And my ground of being is this vertical.
A moje zakorenenie v byti je tá vertikálna.
We can also call this the metaphysical self.
A je to, môžeme to volať aj to metafyzické ja.
So for me to be fully alive is to be the whole circle with the horizontal and the vertical connected.
A pre mňa byť plne nažive znamená byť zakorenený po horizontálnej aj po vertikálnej linii.
So I feel at my best when my ground of being is grounded in my body.
A najlepšie sa cítim, keď som zakorenený, moje bytie je zakorenené v mojom tele.
Yeah, so that's like a strange image, but it's a tree with roots going to the sky and to the ground. You see this in alchemy as well.
A je to vlastne tak ten obraz, že ten strom má korene v zemi, vetvy v nebi.
Yeah. Now, the reason thank you for asking the question about roots.
Ďakujem, že sa pýtaš tú otázku ohľadne zakorenenia.
Because if you're just rooted into the body, you can lose touch with this meaningful state of existence.
Ak ste zakorenení len v tele, môžete stratiť ten zmysel toho, alebo ten kontext tým zmyslom.
Yeah, you can live your whole life in the desires of the body, sex, food, rest, everything else.
A môžeš prežiť celý život len v tých potrebách a túžbách tela, sex, jedlo.
But you sense something's missing. It's like I'm not fully complete.
A zistíš, že niečo chýba, že nie som plne živý.
You're always dissatisfied because there's always a new desire that just keeps rising and rising.
A nie si nikdy spokojný, lebo vždy stále nové a nové túžby prichádzajú.
But when your being is present, all the desires are fulfilled.
A keď tvoje bytie je plne prítomné, všetky potreby a túžby sú naplnené.
Because your being is the origin of all desire. Your being is the origin of all desire.
A to tvoje bytie je pôvodom všetkých túžob.
It contains all possibilities, all potentials.
A zahrňa všetky tie možnosti.
And it's connected to everything.
A je spojený so všetkým.
And it's your soul, it's your heart.
Je to tvoje srdce, tá tvoja duša.
And when your heart is alive in your body, you feel this word a little bit content. You just feel content.
A keď to tvoje srdce je prítomné a plné v tele, tak to je to, čo ja volám byť v sebe.
Okay, so just give you another image. Then you got this, the number 8.
Ešte jedna ten obraz. Predstavte si číslo 8.
So you just turn it on the side and it becomes the infinity symbol.
A keď ho otočíme na ležato, tak je to ten symbol ležatej osmičky
nekonečná. Turn it this way. So you got this moving inside, outside.
A keď to otočíme k sebe, ako do nás.
So we've turned the figure right over, we turned it on the side, and we turned it in.
Dáme to dole, otočíme to do nás.
It's a little visualization training.
Je to taký tréning vizualizácie.
So for me, as the inner circle moves this way, that's my inner life, my being here.
Ten vnútorný, je to vlastne to naše vnútorné bytie.
As it moves out here, it's my doing.
A potom tá druhá časť tej osmičky je to, čo konám.
So it's not either or, it's both and. I come to my state of human beingness, my soulfulness, and I come out into the world of expression.
A nie je to alebo to, je to moje bytie, ktoré ide potom do sveta a tam sa deje vo forme nejakej akcie, nejakého seba vyjadrenia.
So in terms of creativity, I'm connected to my being, and then my being expresses out into the world.
A v kontexte s kreativitou ja som plne vo svojom byti, v kontakte so svojím bytím a idem do sveta vyniesť tie svoje dary a som v kontakte potom s tým svetom a vraciam sa k sebe.
And what I'm saying to you, reminding you, is when your being is in your expression, there is contentment.
Containment?
Contentment. Content.
Content. And keď je to bytie v tom vašom vyjadrení, tak je to slovo content. Ja sa pozriem, čo to presne znamená, pretože neviem presne. I check... Fulfilled. Takže sme naplnení.
So it's like inner success, outer success.
Čiže ten náš kontajner je plný.
So this
čiže vnútorný úspech, vonkajší úspech.
Yeah. So it's this this harmony of beingness and doing simultaneously.
Čiže je to harmónia medzi bytím a konaním zároveň.
If you are a painter,
ak malujete,
invitation. You got paintbrush, you got the canvas.
A keď malujete, tak vezmite si štetec a plátno.
Get some good music on. Close your eyes.
Dajte si hudbu, zaviete oči.
Like breathe in.
A dýchajte dovnútra.
Like keep breathing in.
Pokračujte.
And then pause.
Robte pauzu.
Hold the breath.
Držte dých.
And that holding the breath is like you empty out everything. You give the space of silence.
A keď držíte ten dých, dostanete sa do miesta ticha.
That's the origin story, birthplace of your being.
Tam je to miesto, kde sa rodí vaše bytie.
Or we can call that source energy, if you like, source consciousness.
A to je také tá energia zdroja, zdroja bytia.
Then you breathe out.
Vydýchnete.
You're taking that energy out.
A vezmete tú energiu von.
Into the paintbrush.
Do ruky, do šteca.
Onto the canvas.
A na plátno.
Like,
good advice.
So say breathe. And then you paint. Breathe in. Paint.
A čiže nádych, zastavenie, spočinutie, von a maluješ.
See, then you're not just painting a picture, you're being in the picture.
A vlastne nielen maluješ, ale odtiskuješ ako keby svoje bytie.
And for me, this is what makes life meaningful, when you're being in the moment you're living in.
A vtedy je vlastne život zmysluplný, keď si bytí, keď to žiješ.
I'm in this moment with Freya, with you. It's like, it just feels lovely because I'm just alive here with you right now.
A je to úžasné, ja som tu s vami, ja som tu s Frejou a život je krásny, lebo sme tu takto spolu.
There's nothing more, nothing less, nothing to be added. It just is what it is, but I'm here in this moment to get to you.
Nie, nič tam, ani hore, ani dole, proste stačí, čo je tu teraz.
And it's actually very, very simple.
Je to jednoduché.
And it's very obvious and very natural. We all know this.
Všetci, je to veľmi prirodzené, všetci tu zistujeme, že to je tak.
Yeah, the key, someone says, thank you.
You know, I didn't know anything about that I am painting with myself on canvas, but I started to paint like this.
This is you.
Že ja som o tom, tú teóriu Gaju nevedela o tom, že musím byť so sebou a potom vlastne dám. A že sama som sa tak naučila malovať, lebo vtedy sa mi to zdalo, že to jediné dáva zmysel, because this is the only way how it was meaningful for me. Not just I'm taking some picture and just painting what I see there, some tree and put there. Čiže vlastne, že som asi nevidela vždy zmysel v tom, len proste niečo odmalovať, ale že dávať ten svoj my being on canvas, also to dance, to article, whatever.
So I just want to give you two examples of this, just to really...
Ešte mám dva príklady.
Imagine you're creating a dinner party for friends.
Predstavte si, že robíte večernú party pre priateľov.
So you've been busy inviting people, getting the food, cooking the food, preparing the space.
Čiže ste boli zaneprázdnení, pozývali ste ľudí, varili ste, chystali ste.
And you're imagining, you're excited, but you're busy working.
Si predstavte, že ste síce šťastní, spokojní, ale ste veľmi zaneprázdnení.
People arrive, you welcome them, sit them down, serve the food, all these things.
A ľudia prichádzajú, vítate ich, sadajú.
So you're so busy doing.
A ste veľmi busy tým, že robíte.
And you want to make the dinner party really good and great and fantastic for everybody.
A chcete, aby to bolo úžasné, fantastické pre všetkých.
You forget to be in your own party.
A zabudnete, že ste boli že ste na svojej party.
And you'll go home, you clean up the dishes. Oh, that was a lovely party, but I wasn't in it.
A potom umývate tie riady a zistíte, bolo to super party, ale som tam nebol.
So how could you do exactly the same thing and be in the party?
A ako robiť tú istú vec a byť na party?
By doing your figure of 8 movement.
Tým, že budete robiť tento pohyb.
Like breathe in. I'm here too.
Ja som tu tiež.
While I'm serving the food.
Kým servírujem to jedlo.
While I'm welcoming you. I'm here welcoming you. I am here with you.
Kým vás vítam. Ja som tu, keď vás vítam.
So you include your being and your body in the celebration of the life that's happening.
Čiže zahrnúť svoje telo, svoju bytosť do toho života, kým robím tie ostatné veci. Nezabúdať na seba.
You don't miss the moment, see?
A vtedy nestratíte ten moment.
Yeah, if you've had that experience of falling or rising in love,
a keď máte tú skúsenosť, že sa zamilujete.
And I hope you have it often, not just once, every so often.
Verím, že ju máte viac ich.
Right? In that moment, there's a fusion, there's an intimacy, there's a connection with the life that, as it's happening.
A vtedy je tam to spojenie s tým životom, keď sa to deje.
Actually, what's actually happening is you're no longer thinking and interrupting that natural flow state.
A to, čo sa reálne deje, že nemyslíte a nenarušujete ten prírodzený tok života.
Some people just call that being present. It's really presently alive.
A toho ľudia hovoria, že to je to, keď sme fakt plne prítomní v tom živote.
Yeah. So that's the invitation. Next time you're throwing a dinner party or anything you're doing, just fully be in it, include yourself in it.
A vždycky, keď to budete robiť niečo na budúce, tak nezabudnite samých seba tam privítať.
Yeah. As a dance teacher, it's like I used to be like throwing the dinner party for all the dance people.
A vždycky, keď ako učiteľ tanca som vždycky hodený do tej dinner party.
Yeah, worried about the lighting, the music, are they okay? Worried about something.
Staram sa o svetlá, hudbu, o tom, či každý je v poriadku.
I'd miss the moment. I'd miss the actual celebration of the dance journey itself.
A môžem vlastne zmeškať tú oslavu, ten tanec sám.
So now I really slow down, I breathe in, I feel, I notice.
A ja spomalím, dýcham a začnem to tiež vnímať.
So I really include myself in the life that I'm living.
Ja tiež zahrnem seba do toho života.
So I absolutely enjoy my work all the time.
A preto vždycky absolútne si užívam svoju prácu.
And it's not even so much about the work. See, it's not even the fact that it's dance.
A nie je to o práci.
Yeah, I've just moved to a new house and home. We've just been gardening. I've been gardening the last week.
Yeah. A práve sme sa presťahovali do nového domu a minulý týždeň som celý zahradničil.
So I absolutely love that too. It's not even because of the gardening. It's because I am in what I'm doing.
A vlastne nebolo to žiadna práca. Nebolo to, že zahradničím. Bolo to, že sám seba proste som tam v tom priestore a sám seba tam zahraňujem.
Right. So if you don't remember anything from this talk except for this one sentence, the meaning of life is in the living.
A chcel by som, aby ste si z tohto rozhovoru zobrali aspoň to, že zmyslom života je to žitie.
You can take off your orange glasses.
Môžete dať dole rúžové okuliare, či žlté, či oranžové okuliare.
You can see your friends with their ideas.
Môžete vidieť tých priateľov svojich aj bez tej idei o nich.
And you can see yourself without all that stories like I'm not good enough, I'll never fit in, nobody loves me. You don't have to do that every day. You don't.
Nemusíte, alebo môžete vidieť samého seba bez tých všetkých, som dosť dobrý, nie som dobrý, bez toho, aby ste nad všetkým rozmýšľali, proste môžete to tak vidieť.
You are a million times bigger than your beliefs.
A ste mnohokrát úžasnejší, ako si myslíte.
Even the most beautiful beliefs, you're bigger than that. Even the most beautiful,
a hoci máte aj úžasné myšlienky o vás a predstavy o vás, aj tak ste lepší ako aj tie najúžasnejšie predstavy.
Yeah, so the art of life and creativity is really fully present.
A umením života a kreativity je byť úplne plne prítomný.
Give yourself permission to come alive in the art of everyday life.
Dať si to povolenie byť prítomný vo všetkom, čo robíte v tom umení, v práci, v čomkoľvek sa nachádzate.
If you were here at the beginning, we talked about the river. Each one of us has a different, unique place in the river.
A keď sme hovorili o rieke na začiatku, tak každý má v tej rieke to svoje osobité miesto.
And we all make up the river. You know, everyone is included. Everyone has a perfect spot in the river.
A všetci robíme tú rieku a každý tam má svoje perfektné miesto.
And deep down, we're all water.
A niekde na spodku sme všetci voda.
And we're all flowing in some way or other.
A všetci niekde plujeme, plavíme sa.
So then we can really start to celebrate all the differences and the uniqueness that we have.
A môžeme oslavovať všetku tú našu jedinečnosť, ktorú máme.
Yeah. So we started this call that creativity is much more than just the canvas that you see or the sculpture or the forms of creativity.
Tak sme začali tento rozhovor tým, že kreativita je oveľa viac jak plátno alebo socha.
It's living your life as a creator, as a creatress.
A je to o tom, že žijeme svoj život ako tvorcovia, tvorkyne.
Yeah, so really being alive in your life as it's happening.
Je to o tom byť živý vo svojom vlastnom živote.
Okay, I'm going to take another breath now.
A Gaj si teraz sa nadýchne. OK, takže už prešla nám 1.5 hodiny. Ak teda máte na Gaja ešte nejaké otázky, tak budem rada, ak ich teraz položíte, bo za chvíľku skončíme. So I also ask for the questions. A tento rozhovor tu ostane v skupine a ja vám ho tým, čo tu nie sú, teda ešte pošlem mailom. A Gaj má na záver ešte pre vás nejaké pozvánky, ak by ste chceli nejak hlbšie zažiť jeho prácu a spoznať ho. So I just want to ask you if you want to invite them for some your work or some course. Myslím si, že tak Gajová práca mi zmenila život v mnohých veciach a aj moje stretnutie s ním. A teraz až zistujem, keď ho počúvam, že väčšinu z tých vecí, tej slobody a tých povolení, čo ja vnímam, že tvorím pre to malovanie, som sa naučila práve pri tom tanci. So I just realized when I was listening to so many things that I use in my courses come from your teaching. As I was not thinking about it. I just feel fully present. I just give myself permission. I just give them permission so they can do whatever they want on canvas everywhere. I just realized it now. So if you have some invitation for the people, so please tell something.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to say it's been a real honor and joy to share this time with you right now.
Tak sa teší, že mohol s vami zdieľať tento čas.
So this is not a course. This is just we're hanging out on the sofa, just sharing beautiful conversation.
Takže sme si užili túto našu spoločnú konverzáciu.
But I hope it's been really valuable for you, and hope it's invited you to kind of shift your perspective a little bit, come closer to your heart.
A verím, že to bolo pre vás hodnotné a že ste možno trošku posunuli to vaše vnímanie viac k sebe a k tomu svojmu srdcu.
And give up your poker face, except if you're playing poker.
A dajte presu vašu poker face, okrem chvíľ, kedy hráte poker.
So yeah, in terms of courses, there are a couple of specific things I'd love to invite you to.
A sú nejaké veci, kde by som vás rád pozval, ak budete mať chuť.
So I've been working with these subjects for like 30 years, in fact longer, but 30 years.
A venujem sa týmto veciam 30 rokov približne.
For a large part of that time I've been filming things.
A veľa vecí som nafilmoval.
So I made a effort to condense it into like a series of videos.
A som venoval hodne úsilia tomu, aby som to skondenzoval do nejakej série videí.
So I put together what's called a 21-day program.
A dal som dokopy 21-denný program.
I wouldn't actually advise doing it in 21 days, but you can if you want to.
Môžete to urobiť za tých 21 dní, ale môže to byť aj...
But essentially it's 21 themes on what I call conscious creativity.
Je to 21 dní, ale asi by vám to bude trvať dlhšie a je to o vedomej kreativite.
And it takes you from inspiration to desire to self-expression.
A vezme vás to cez inšpiráciu k túžbám, k sebavyjadreniu.
And gives you sort of the background of what's behind it and also exercises that let you realize this.
Vezme vás to aj k tomu backgroundu, čo je za tým a k nejakým cvičeniam.
So that's a really good foundation. So that's a 21 day or 21 themes.
Je to ako dobrý základ. Je to 21 dní, 21 tém.
When I was feeling into it yesterday, I thought this would be the best way to offer it to you.
A je to taká dobrá vec, ktorú by som vám rád ponúkol, ak by ste sa tomu chceli povenovať.
So one is to have the videos as a course, as a resource.
Je fajn mať treba tie videá ako kurz alebo ako taký zdroj.
And during the journey of watching it, is also have a one-to-one session with me.
A medzi tým by vám možno prišlo vhod mať so mnou jednak jednej session.
Or if there's many of us do this at the same time, we could have a group call, but to have that live feedback with each other.
A mať vlastne ten živý feedback jeden.
I don't know about you, but I've got many courses, which I've watched, but when you have a mentor present, it really activates the course.
A viem, že mnohí majú veľa kurzov, ale keď máte uprostred treba z toho kurzu, to stretnutie s tým mentorom, tak sa aktivuje hodne vecí.
And just to seduce you into this, I'm giving you a special discount for anyone who's watching this video.
A aby vás navnadil, tak pre tých, čo sledujú video, tak má aj špeciálnu cenu.
Right. So you can have this 21-day course for 2,999 crowns.
A toto 21-dňové kurz, čo má 21 tém, môžete mať za 2,990
And if you choose
českých.
to do the mentoring, which I highly advise, then it's 444.
A keby ste chceli treba aj ten mentoring, tak What is it?
4 fours.
4 štyrky.
Yeah, I like numbers like this.
Mhm.
Or
4444.
another option is to book in some one-to-one sessions with me.
Alebo môžete, keď chcete si prejsť nejaké veci s Gajom, môžete mať vlastne normálne 1:1 session.
Yeah, I call this Heart Fire Life Coaching.
Volá
Wake
to
up your heart fire.
Heart Fire Coaching, je to coaching ohňa srdca.
And it's good to have like a minimum 3 sessions to really get deep into transformation and grounding and integrating.
A odporúčam také 3 sessions, lebo je to vlastne cez také prejdenie nejakých vecí, zakorenenie a integrácia.
I've also written a book. It's on Amazon Kindle on conscious creativity.
It's a book?
Yeah.
You have a book? Má aj knižku Vedomá kreativita na Amazone.
Now, all these things I've just talked about, they are in English, so it does require you speaking in English.
Všetko je to po anglicky, takže je to pre tých, ktorí vedia po anglicky.
And I've been living and working in Czech Republic for 10 years, so I've recorded a lot with translation. So I can put together a course for those people who would like it with translation.
Ale žije alebo pracuje tu už 10 rokov, tak má pripravené nejaké aj preklady a môže potom prípadne vytvoriť aj kurz pre tých, ktorí chcú preklad.
So those are things I'm offering online and through Zoom.
A to je niečo, čo ponúka online cez Zoom.
Also, the Dancing Heart Path, which I was referring to a lot during this call.
A vlastne samozrejme všetkých aj pozýva do tejto svojej školy tančíceho srdca, ktoré ja som bola aj som vlastne súčasťou.
So in January 2023 we have a new cycle of this school.
A v januári sa začína vlastne nový cyklus, je to 2-ročný cyklus školy mystérii a tanečnej facilitácie a začína sa to v januári na ďalšie 2 roky.
It takes place over 15 months, really deep transformational alchemical journey.
15?
Yeah.
Takže nie je to 2 roky, je to 15 mesiacov vlastne takej transformačnej cesty.
So it's not every day. It's I think it's about 8 meetings.
Nie je to každý deň, je to 8 stretnutí víkendových.
And coming up very soon, on the 29th of September to the 2nd of October, we have an open weekend to try it out, to experience to see if there's something you like or love.
When?
29th of this month.
So in 2 days?
Very soon, yes. Very soon.
Tento víkend je taký otvorený víkend, kde by ste sa mohli pozrieť, keď chcete to zažiť a si to tak oňuchať.
And I teach regularly in Prague on a Thursday evening.
A v Prahe učí tanec vlastne Thursday, vo štvrtok večer.
I'm in Liberec tomorrow evening.
Liberec je zajtra večer.
I feel that the best thing to do, if you're interested in any of these offers or want to get onto my database, if you could give your email address to Freyja, is that reasonable?
Okay.
Okay. Or to leave the email address?
Tak kto chcete viac informácií, tak dajte mi e-mail alebo dajte koment pod tento post a ja sa s vami nejako spojím kvôli e-mailu.
I've got a lot to share on conscious creativity and I would love to put it into your hands and hearts so you can make good use of it.
Tak ja mám toho hodne, čo môžem pozdieľať k vedomej kreativite a rád vám to dám do rúk, keď budete mať záujem.
Because I've been so moved by what's open inside of me, I just want to share it with everybody.
A som hodne dotknutý s tým, čo sa vlastne udialo vo mne a veľmi rád to s vami pozdieľam.
Yeah, we've got so much possibility and potential. You know, there's so much greatness in every human being.
Máme strašne veľa možností a potenciálu, spústa krásy v každej ľudskej bytosti.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a amazing and beautiful sentence at the end. A ja sa chcem pýtať, či vlastne nie sú to žiadne otázky. Ja si myslím, že Guy nám porozpráva toľko, že už ostaneme len s nemou tvárou a nemáme žiadne otázky. Aspoň mne sa to vždy tak dialo, že moje vnímanie ešte tam nedozrelo, aby sa vôbec niečo pýtalo. Ale ak máte tie otázky, tak verím, že by ste ich už boli položili. Takže teraz tam už nie sú. So there are no more questions. Takže ja vám veľmi pekne ďakujem. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Guy, that you came to my place and you found time for us and you shared your wisdom with us. Ďakujem Guyovi, že prišiel, že si našiel čas a prišiel sem a zdieľal s nami svoju múdrosť. So I hope some people will contact with you and will have an opportunity to spend time with you and learn from you because it's a very nice gift.
Thank you very much.
Takže verím, že si niekto nájdete čas a záujem sa prepojiť s Guyom a navštíviť nejaké jeho buď kurzy alebo tanečné cesty, lebo jeho učenie je naozaj veľký dar.
Yeah, I look forward to meet you. I live here in Czech Republic.
Tak sa veľmi, veľmi teším, že niekoho z vás stretnem, lebo žijem tu v Čechách, takže som blízko.
And I come to Bratislava from Slovakia.
A chodím občas aj mať tanec do Bratislavy, takže na Slovensku.
I just want to thank Freyja, because this is it's been a very beautiful time we've spent here right now.
Takže ďakujem veľmi pekne a aj pre mňa to bol veľmi príjemný strávny čas.
Just before we started the call, just sharing some excitement with Freyja, just that we have the possibility to really support people in having an even more beautiful life just through this call.
A predtým, ako sme začali, tak mi hovoril, že aké máme možnosti vlastne podporovať ľudí, aby žili krajší život.
And the energy of sharing creativity just builds more creativity.
A energia vzdielania kreativity buduje viac kreativity.
So I'm excited for you. Excited for what happens next.
Takže som taký natešený pre vás a z toho, čo všetko vznikne.
Yeah.
Tak pekný večer vám prajeme a majte sa pekne.